Before I begin, I would just like to show everyone a very short film. It's a 2-minute film, but it pretty much brings with me the women all over the Philippines that our communities work with. So if I could have the film shown, thank you.
Are you enough? The world can be too much. Greed has taken what is supposed to be sufficient. You have been destroyed many times. To them, you will never be enough. But within your heart is an ocean of forgiveness. You are more than willing to take a chance again. While others give up, you endure. In times of suffering, your light shines through. You are more than what they can perceive. Your outer beauty is no match to the splendor of your character. You were shaped to become the most beautiful, imperfect creature. Every day, you choose to forge ahead, do things right, commit mistakes. Sometimes, you just want to give up, but then, you continue the journey. Trust the process. Thrive on the unknown. You can do even the most unimaginable. You breathe life into the lifeless. You give hope to the hopeless. You empower the powerless. You can turn pain into something beautiful. Your love is beyond measure. You shine 1,000,000 times. No one can dim your light. You are more than enough. You are a woman.
You are a woman. I am the last of about 9-10 speakers today. And I hope you haven't reached your information overload yet. And I know that I stand between this time and cocktail hour. So I'm sure many of you might want to dash out as quickly as you possibly can. But I do have to say that I enjoyed my part of being part of the audience, listening to the speakers, because they have said so many wonderful things that I'm sure all of us have a lot to take away from. So do you remember what the other women said? Did you take note? Which ones amongst what they said touched your heart? And most importantly for me, I was thinking, what can I say that has not been said? Well, not very many perhaps, but maybe the one thing I can share with you in the next 15-20 minutes are some of the highlights of my story. An experience uniquely mine, and yet, as I listened to many of the women that spoke, I know that many of my learnings are really not just mine, but many have been shared by the other speakers, because that's the shared humanity we all have in common. I just turned 60 in October last year. I've been married for 35 years to one man. I'm a mother of 2 children. I've worked as a corporate professional in the United States, Robert Half International in particular, for 30 years, and I retired as a district president. I'm also the eldest of a family and a sister of 6. I am Jesuit educated, and so are all my siblings. I am blessed to have parents that are both octogenarians. My mother is 86 and my father is 88. I too am a cancer survivor, a breast cancer survivor. I was diagnosed with early stage of breast cancer when I was 51, so that was 9 years ago. And that was a very, very difficult time in my life because I was at the peak of my career. I was a district president. I was in charge of several hundred millions of dollars. I had 9, 10 offices all over California, from San Diego all the way to Palm Springs. And when you're going for your regular mammogram and your doctor tells you that they found something, there's good news and bad news. The good news is it's very, very early stage, but the bad news is it is breast cancer. It's a bit of a slap in the face and a huge bucket of cold water being, put in your face. So that was a very, very critical time in my life. Do I stay? What about my job? What about my title? I was just given the title of one of the most influential women in California that year. I was at the height of my financial ability to make money. But at the same time, I also knew that if something happened to me, I don't think my children at that time would have been ready. Because I was too much of a Filipina tiger mom that was always with them in whatever they did, in their decision making, in how they did their lives. And I was concerned for them. I was concerned for my husband, and I was concerned for my parents, who I felt a lot of guilt because I was giving service to so many people all over the world, literally. But I left my parents at 24, and I felt I needed now to serve them. So we made the difficult decision to come home to the Philippines, and I'm very lucky and very proud to say that I have a husband that understood and supported me and supported our move here to the Philippines. So in 2014, we moved back to Manila. Having lived in the United States for most of my adult life, it was a little bit difficult to move back to Manila for a number of different reasons. And I really wanted to slow down because of health reasons. But I think if you're a person, a woman, and a very hardworking Filipina at that, who's used to waking up very early in the morning, doing the breakfast, cooking the breakfast, going to work, coming home, then helping with the homework, then cleaning the house, and so on and so forth, taking it easy here in Manila, having a manicure and a pedicure every single week, going to the beauty parlor, having a massage, having 2-hour breakfasts was very short-lived for me. A cousin of mine told me to volunteer and be part of this organization called Bantay Bata. And before I knew it, I became a volunteer. But once you hear one of those calls of young girls in the Bantay Bata 163 number, telling the caller of how scared they are of going home that night for fear of being raped once again by their stepfather, your life can never be the same. When you go and see the lines and lines of people who are waiting for 6 cans of delata and 2 little supots of rice for hours, and then somebody gets mad and says, "Bumalik ka na naman. Ilang oras ka nang nandito sa linyang ito, umikot ka, bumalik ka na naman." But they were getting mad at this person. And I'm thinking to myself, why are you getting mad at this person? For this person to want to stay in this line for almost a whole day for 12 delatas must mean that this person must need it so badly. And once you see this, your life cannot be the same again. Well, fast forward, I started as a volunteer, but unexpectedly became the managing director of the ABS-CBN Lingkod Kapamilya Foundation in 2016. And now, as a senior, my prime apparently, I have a budding career as a teleradyo talk host, and I now have my own radio and television show every Sunday at 5 o'clock, Channel 26 on cable, Kapamilya Connect. Who would think, right? The rest of my story, you can Google. And yes, you can always come to me to check if it's legit or fake news. Empowering women, building a nation. When Rebecca called me and asked me to be a speaker, I at first hesitated and I said, oh my gosh, what a daunting topic. And how many hours do I have to talk about this? Is this for a day? And Rebecca says, you have 15 or 20 minutes tops. I said, wow, okay. Well, let me tell you now, and I hate to disappoint my girlfriends who came here for my 15 minutes of talk, I don't think I have anything earth-shaking to say, and neither do I have a silver bullet to say as to how we women, we empowered women, should be part of nation building. I don't know how, but I know that we Filipinas and the enlightened Filipino gentlemen that are here, present today, don't have a choice. We have to be part of nation building. We belong to the Philippines, and we must continue in nation building because the future of our country is at stake. The future of our children and our children's children is at stake. Our families and our communities. It's too important, and as women, we care too much. Many of you, and I look at this table, have already taken on leadership roles in the industries, associations, professions you belong to. And my message to you is you need to forge ahead. Because you represent, if not hundreds, thousands of families, your friends, your families, their families, your employees, your supporters that are looking and are so thirsty for leadership in our country. So you have no choice but to forge ahead. For those other women that are thinking, should I be part of it? Especially in this day and age when it's scary and it's messy, you have no choice but to be a part of it. It is scary, it is daunting, but you have to be a part of it because one day you will look back and you do not want to have any regrets that you were not part of nation building. The one piece among many of us right now that we can do is many of the things that the speakers already talked about. It's really about starting small, doing it one day at a time, and probably starting with empowering the people around us. Whether it's in your family, whether it's in your offices, it's in your foundations, it's in the big corporations that you work in. Make sure that the people that you're with feel inspired. Feel that there is hope for ourselves and for our country. Inspired to work, to innovate, to dream, and hope for a better tomorrow for themselves and their children. As you go home tonight, as I said, information overload. You've met so many people, you have so many ideas. Maybe the one thing you can just think about would be the question of how aware are you about how do you affect the people around you? How would you rate yourself in terms of an influencer in a scale of 1 to 10? And if you scale yourself high up there, which I think you will because you wouldn't be here if you're not, I want you to ask yourself, how effective are you? And what would you do differently from what you've heard today? I think Rebecca and Richard have done, I was going to call you Rick, Rebecca and Richard have done a great job in putting this team together, this group of people together, but it will mean nothing if there's no little change, no little thing that stirs your heart to make you a better person, to make you a better leader. And so think about it. Think of that one thing that maybe someone said today that stirred your heart and will make you do something different to make the world something more innovative, something more hopeful for the people that you work for. Now on the subject of women, I love my mother. Love her to death. I love my daughter. My girlfriends, I'm proclaiming it. I love you all for coming here this afternoon and supporting me. I know you didn't have to come here, but you are here today for me, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm one of those lucky women that have found a group of friends that are so supportive. You have to find yourselves that group of supportive women too. We are all blessed to be women. And a woman is indeed one of God's most special creations. But let me tell you right now that all women are not created equal. There are women that I'm sure we know that have created families, businesses, and relationships. And we know women that have destroyed families, businesses, and relationships. We know women that have inspired other women and inspired thousands, if not millions of people. And we know women that have instilled fear and have stopped generations of men and women from moving forward. We know of women that have enabled, and we know of women that have disabled. We know of women that know how to love and nurture. But we know of women who bully, who become vicious, and kill someone else's spirit. We know women who are friends and who should be our lifelong friends forever. But we also know that there are women that are not out for our best interest and who are enemies. From overbearing mother-in-laws in homes or bullies in the workplace to women that envy other women. Or take the slogan women empowerment to extremes, not to help other people, but for their own self-promotion. Move away. Move away. Tumakbo kayo pag nakita niyo yung mga babaeng yan, because they're not worth your time. There is also, I don't know that woman right now who's quite famous. Have you heard about her? Marie Kondo? Who has heard about Marie Kondo? Raise your hand. Okay. So, okay, it's time for up to Con Marie as well, our women's circles. Con Marie, your women's circles. You have to figure out, yung mga kaibigan nyo, your friends, take a look at your friends, okay? Do they bring you joy? Okay? Do your girlfriends bring you joy? If your girlfriends bring you joy, keep them, okay? Keep them, love them, nurture them, take care of them. But if your girlfriends don't bring you joy, anong kailangan natin gawin? Move away, okay? And maybe the one thing too that you can ask one another is just say, okay, do these women also bring joy, not just to me, but to other people? And if the answer is yes, then they're the BFFs that you're looking for. You need to keep them forever. All right. Because let's just remember, ladies, okay, that we rise when we lift other women up. Let's promote each other. Let's take care of each other. And I am reminded of a quote of a famous lady by the name of Madeleine Albright. Remember Madeleine Albright? That says, There's a special place in hell for women who don't help other women. So make sure you know where to go, up and not down. Bottom line, let's choose the women you surround yourselves with. Success, if you really want to be successful, is liking yourself, liking what you do, but more importantly, being proud of how you did it and who you did it with. We are all on a journey, and I've come to really realize that what defines us is not how much money we have in the bank, where we studied, or what our title is. We are measured by how we behave in times of adversity and in how many lives we've touched for the better. I've been lucky to have very, very good mentors, women mentors, and they've always told me that to be successful, you have to look at yourself. Look at yourself. And I think it's been said here, know your strengths. And when you know your strength, use it, highlight it, further develop it to make it even stronger. But at the same time, know your weaknesses and be humble enough to know what it is and to accept it. But being successful is not enough, and being by yourself is not enough. To be effective, you have to look at others. You have to surround yourselves with authentic people, people that share your advocacy, people that share your beliefs and your value systems. But we're here not just to be successful and to be effective, right? Many of us are here on this earth because we want to be happy. And happiness can only be achieved if we work together making life better for others. That's the only way. They say that for you to be happy is to be of service to others. And we cannot do everything, but everyone can do something, and together we can change the world. The unexpected gift of the ABS-CBN Lingkod Kapamilya Foundation has given me this professional fulfillment in ways I could never have imagined. We care for abused children through Bantay Bata. We help protect the environment through Bantay Kalikasan. And we are the first responders to disaster relief and rehabilitation efforts through Sagip Kapamilya. I know many of you are already part of organizations and you're already part of a lot of different things that help Filipinos. But should you be interested to come join us, please do, because we need a village to keep the work that we do going. We employ over 380 people in the foundation, mostly foresters, social workers, and foresters of La Mesa Eco Park and Watershed. That's what we're responsible for. We're responsible for the drinking water of 12 million Filipinos in Metro Manila. It's the only rainforest in all of Metro Manila. It's the only place in Metro Manila that you can actually breathe clean air. So please come visit. And I would love for you, if you find it in your hearts to come join us in whatever way, please come to our website and let us know of your intent. In closing, I just wanted to say that in preparation for my talk this afternoon, I got to think of an organization I belong to. It's called the Filipino Women's Network, and many of my Filipino women influential ladies are here with me this afternoon, ladies. I was invited to join this women's organization of influential Filipina ladies that started when I was still in San Francisco. And I was probably one of the first 30 members. This was in the early 90s. And every member has been asked to write a chapter about their lives, their accomplishments, and what they were, they're most proudest about. We're now on book 3, going on book 4. And for whatever reason, I haven't been able to submit my story. And my draft has just been sitting there. And I thought that during my retirement, maybe now I can finally submit it and be part of book 4. And I couldn't understand why I never did. But now I think I do. I realize that there's more to write. And I'm hoping and praying to God, God, please listen to me, that my biggest accomplishment and my proudest moments are yet to come. And so to the young women who are in the audience today, I want to share with you one of these quotes that I love, that I tell my daughter. I want you to be that girl who wakes up with purpose and intent. I want you to be that girl who shows up and never gives up. I want you to be that girl who believes anything is possible and is willing to work for it. And to my senior leader girlfriends, I have a special message for you all. My wish for you is that you continue. Continue to be who you are and how you are, to astonish a mean world with your acts of kindness. Thank you very much.